I'm going to keep the client name anonymized on this one. They're a bank in the U.S. West Coast. They manage a portfolio of about 10 billion, 40 customers. They've been around for 3 decades. And they originated actually underwriting and servicing the real estate market. And in the West Coast, obviously, that's where there's a lot of job growth. That's where there's a lot. Therefore, they had a very niche market that they were targeting. And they funded retail deposits and savings account, and they're still pretty branch focused. Now, what was a little sad is that they were facing quite a few challenges, and I'll go one by one on this one. They were actually not acquiring any new customers. They had an aging population in terms of clientele, and there was absolutely no personalization. They did not know who their customer was. So I could be a 60-year-old woman getting ready to downsize, but I would get a mortgage application or an email offering a mortgage to me. So that was a significant challenge. They had no idea who their customer was at any point. I'll also start reading a few reviews that they got, just so that you kind of appreciate the situation that they were in. They had very inefficient business processes. Actually, when I talk about personalization, they had duplicates of account numbers in different branches, so that a customer could go to another branch, open another account, but it was the same person. They had no way of ensuring. So remember my previous slide of this being an issue in the 1950s, just sort of, take it in that context. Everything was very, very manual, and it was apparent in some of the reviews that we were looking at as we were taking on the project. Let me read one to you guys. Not sure what it's like to have an account here, but do not use them as a mortgage lender. Got tied down to them for a mortgage, and I always decided to pay in cash rather than dealing with them as a lender. Closing date was delayed multiple times, and as we were approaching the signing date, the lender could not accept anything electronically, so we had to FedEx things to them and nearly risked moving the date by another few months. So I just wanted everybody to appreciate the challenges that we took on, obviously leading to very, very poor customer experiences. And on top of that, there was inefficiency in how they managed their risk and governance, which obviously put the entire bank at risk, right? And I mean, real-time insights was, a thing of wishful thinking at that time. So what solutions have we provided so far? We're not live yet. We're going live actually in a few weeks. First thing was getting the personalization going. Right? They really needed to desperately understand their customers if they wanted to even have an idea about bringing on board new customers. Because the ones they would bring on board would expect this, right? Like I was saying, they had an aging population in terms of the customer base. So maybe it was okay. But if they wanted to actually bring on more customers, they really needed to. And I'm not going into a lot of details because I think, Eric, you did a fantastic job in terms of talking about what hyper-personalization is. What we did in terms of, obviously, not just gathering information about the person, but we also enabled the capturing of omni-channel touchpoints. This is very important. So that whenever they called, at whatever point, we knew how many interactions, or they would know how many interactions that they would have. I'm looking at this because I want to make sure I pop up some key things outside of the norms. Obviously, put in the business processes so that through no-code, we are enabling them to actually develop things themselves as well, but making sure that we put the make a checker balance, put in SLAs as part of the business process, so that one thing for sure was, there was another review. I'm not going to go through all the reviews because you're going to feel really, really sad for this particular bank. It said they had to call several times over and they didn't know where the loan was. And that was part of the challenges here. So by putting the SLAs in, people knew, not just the customer. So customer would get an automatic update, but me, who's the lender, also knew that I was running out of time and I need to move this process along. Structured and security governance embedded into it. So whatever compliance documents came on as part and parcel of the solution that we put in, so that it was not an afterthought. It was just done as part of the process. And when you put a dashboard together and you know where things are, if something is falling back, nothing gets people moving, right? So put in the visuals. But we think we're actually recommending them to do a few more things after they get over this first hump and get to production. We want them to actually start using, to be able to understand the customer better, really even harvesting social sentiment. So somebody puts a hashtag. It's funny you talked about Amazon. I met a developer from Amazon just 2 days ago. And it was interesting. He said, if somebody said hashtag Amazon, I did not get my delivery on the date, there was guaranteed an email from Jeff Bezos saying what is going on, right? That's how alert they are, and that's how customer focused they are. And they would proactively go into that customer, get the thing delivered, and then immediately watch for the feedback saying what great service Amazon has. They listen to me, right? So social sentiments is here, and Amazon is spoiling the market, clearly, right? In a good way. Making sure they market to the right person. This is key. They was just, butter spreading their marketing campaign. So this had to be targeted. So structuring it into categorizations. This is what we're recommending. They're not doing it in the first phase, but this is something that they can evolve into. And obviously improving at the speed of business. Again, hyper automation even beyond what we're doing, even using consumer dynamics to automate further. And then flexible dealing. So this is basically where we are recommending them to do sort of regional level GRC protocols embedded into the processes as well. The outcomes that we're projecting, 15% growth. I think this is really, I'm lowballing this, I feel. I think it's going to be far better. You heard Catherine talk about at least 30% growth, right? So customer base expansion, again, I think I'm lowballing it. But they have to also, I think, recover from a perception perspective as well. So that's why we are putting it here. But it's obviously up from here. Customer delight indices, so we're putting in feedback loops, we're putting in actually collecting that information so that we get validation that the processes and the automation that we put in with the Creatio platform is actually helping them improve their business. So it's very important that we focus on the outcomes in order for us to deliver this. Application processing from weeks. I'm being nice. It hasn't been weeks, it's been months. You could see the feedback that it's, sometimes it has been delayed by 6 months. Imagine somebody waiting to close your house and you don't get to close it because your mortgage hasn't been processed, right? So if we want to be able to bring it down to days, 100% compliance through eKYC, so we're putting in the eKYC process, and then marketing campaign outcomes to improve by over 40%. So really driving the new acquisition process, and then the ROI in approximately 8 months, 6 to 8 months, but 8 months. All right. Last but not least, Mithra is introducing a new product called MyCPQ. And it'll help you really, centralize your products into one, intelligence pricing, smart discounts, and forecasting metrics. rules engine and automated workflows, as well as code generation. It's available. So these are the building blocks that Eric was talking about. So if you'd like to see a demo, please stop by our booth. We'll be happy to demo that for you. All right, with that, I can see I saw you standing there, sirs, rushing through that. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.